Hi, is everyone back yet? All right, so Srilata has a doubt. She's asking when we define the goals, the KPI should be directly related to accomplishing the specific goal, isn't it? Like for example, to increase the paid memberships for a product, which is a goal, the KPIs would focus on increasing the number of registrations. Am I correct? This should be focusing on the benefits of paid registration in the ad copy upfront. So, Srilata, KPIs are the metrics which help you reach the goal, which help you identify the goals and how many goals have been completed. All right. So, say your goal is increasing the conversions on or increasing sales on your website. So your key performance indicators in that case would be the number of conversions that are taking place on your website, the number of people who are coming to your website, the percentage of people who are converting after coming to your website, the percentage of people who are converting on your website from different sources. Those will be your key performance indicators. Okay, key performance indicators, the metrics would contain some numbers. Your goal might be something subjective, but your KPIs will have numbers behind it. Is that clear? So, a brief history about data collection and everything. Where does the data live? Okay. Now, these are technical details. You don't need to really get worried about it. We're just telling you so that you have some basic idea around it. This is not something that you should definitely know, but there's just some history behind how data used to be collected earlier and how it's collected now. All right. So you used to have web logs via which you used to collect data from websites. Earlier, what used to happen was when there was no proper way of collecting data, the IT guys, the coders, they had to run different scripts and run different commands and get that data. So every time you wanted to know the number of people who have come to your website, you'd have to go to the IT guy and ask him to find that number out by running a script. Okay, which was then downloaded into spreadsheets, reports were created, some databases were created, and all that. It was much more complicated earlier than what it is now. So we used to have the web server logs. It is all right if you don't understand this. It is not important. We then move to web beacons. Now web beacons are mostly used for email marketing, wherein you have a small image in your email and the number of times your email is opened is measured by the number of times that image is loaded. So it's a 1 pixel by 1 pixel image which gets loaded every time your email is opened or every time your page is opened. So the more number of times your page is opened, every time your page is opened, the web beacons increase the number by +1. Okay, so that would help us find the number of people who have visited this page, but it would not help us identify the number of unique people who have visited my site. I would find out the number of views on my pages. I would say that 1,000 views were there on my page, but I would not know how many unique views were there on my page. Were this 1,000 views all by one guy, or were there by 100 guys or 900 people? This was difficult. Then came in JavaScript and Google Analytics. Okay, now visitors using Google Analytics can be tracked very easily, and there is a small con to it that JavaScript can be turned off, which I don't think more than 2 to 5% of the audience in the world knows. So this is a pretty secure system in order to track the people who are coming to your site. All right, so Google Analytics is the most used analytics tool worldwide, and it's a free tool. There's a paid version as well, but that's an enterprise solution, so you don't really need to worry about it. And the best part is it can be integrated with AdWords, your Webmaster, and other Google products, which you'll learn in the subsequent classes, which you'll learn about in the subsequent classes. So how do you set up Google Analytics? All right, I'll just walk you through the process right now. So you go to analytics.google.com. You need to have a Gmail ID. Okay. And then when you go to Analytics, you will create a new account. As soon as you create a new account, you need to tell Google Analytics if it is a website or a mobile app. We'll go ahead with the website. So let's say my website name is testing. Again, I'll name this as testing. Or say I am doing it for one of the websites. We're doing it for 7C stores. So my website name would be 7cstores.net. You'd have to select the industry category. Okay. Selecting the industry category should not be very difficult. In this, it can either be shopping or it's travel. You set your reporting time zone, which is GMT plus 5:30. You select India. It's GMT plus 5:30. You can check all of these. It does not create a lot of difference. Benchmarking is something that you should check all the time, because if you allow your website to be benchmarked, what Google does is Google starts providing you data of your competitors as well. How well you are doing as compared to your competitors. You can find that data out as well. So you click on this and you get a tracking ID. You select your country and click on I accept. And nobody reads the terms and conditions. So once you're done with this, you will see a tracking ID code and you'll see a website tracking code here as well. All right. What you will then do is you will open your website and the admin panel. You will go to the admin panel of the website that you've created. You'll enter the password and username. So now that you have set up a Google Analytics account, what is important is you link your website to your Google Analytics account so that you start getting data there. All right. To link it, we use a plugin. We use a plugin called Yoast Analytics plugin. So this is how your dashboard will look on a WordPress website. You go to plugins and you click on add new. All right. You then search for Yoast Analytics. It's one of the more trusted plugins. The plugin that I'm looking for, I can't see that plugin. Yes, there you go. That's Yoast SEO. Check more details and see if this is the plugin that you need. But this is for SEO. So say I try to add this particular plugin. So it'll automatically install. You click on activate plugin. You can see I've not worked on this this particular plugin before. I'm working on it for the first time. So here you can see the Google Analytics by Monster Insights. So you go to settings and it says Google profile and authenticate with your Google account. Make sure you're logged into your Google account on which you created the analytics profile. You click on authenticate with your Google account. You click on allow. You get this particular code which you copy and paste. Once you do that, you select the profile. So we had created 7cstores.net by the name of testing. So once we have done that, You select the analytics profile and click on Save Changes. Once you click on Save Changes, your property is now active. All right. Now, how do we find out if the Google Analytics is working or not? Okay. So Google gives you an option to check everything real time. Now, what I would want you to do is, I would want all of you to visit this website. I will just share the link on chat. Click on this link and visit this website. Now we'll have to check if Google Analytics is working or not. And once people start visiting the website, we'll start seeing the numbers increase here. All right, people have started visiting. You see 2 users on the website, 3, 4, 5, 7. What I can also do is find out the location you are visiting my site from. So all of you are visiting my site from India. Let me see if we can dive deeper. Yes, we can. 2 of our visitors are from Kolkata, 2 from New Delhi, 2 from Pune, Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, Jaipur, Mumbai, and Sikandrabad. So that means our Google Analytics is working just fine. All right. Any doubts about the installation process and connecting your website with Google Analytics? Any doubts until now? Umesh, Uma Mahesh, Yoast is a plugin. Yoast is a plugin. So you have various plugins on WordPress which help you integrate Google Analytics. You can use any plugin that you want to. You can Google what is the best plugin for Google Analytics on WordPress. It'll tell you you can use any plugin. Yuvraj is asking for a small recap from tracking onwards. All right. From tracking onwards. Which step would that be? So I had integrated the plugin. I went to plugins, install plugins. You go to analytics, you select the plugin. You select the profile, authenticate it from your Google account, go to Google Analytics and then verify. That's the whole process, Yuvraj. Rikin is asking, if not WordPress and made in HTML, then what do we do? So in that case, again, so with whichever platform you make it in, you will have plugins, okay? If you don't have plugins, what you'd have to do is, you go to your account settings and you'll go to tracking info and then you'll select the tracking code where you see this particular tracking code, which you'd have to enter in the header of your website. You'd have to ask your tech team to enter this in the header of your website. Okay, so as soon as you have this in the header of your website, your Google Analytics will be integrated with your website. Is this clear? Any doubts about the integration process? Perfect. Let's move on then. All right. So once the integration is done, this is how your home screen will look. Okay. All right. So I'll show you about each of these metrics. So on the home page, on the main page, you'd see some metrics. You'd see the sessions. You'll see the number of users. You'll see page views, pages per sessions, average session duration, bounce rate, percentage new session. Now sessions means the number of people who have come to, the number of sessions you've had on your site, the number of people who have visited your site. Okay. Users would mean the unique number of people who have come to your site. A lot of people visit your site twice. So users will be the unique users. Sessions will be the total number of sessions. Page views will be the total number of pages visited by the people who have been who came to your site. Okay. Pages per session would be equal to number of page views divided by the number of sessions. Average session duration, we'll talk about the amount of time spent by users in every session. Bounce rate is an interesting concept here. Now, bounce rate is defined as, it can be defined in two ways. One, if a person visits your site and leaves your site after visiting just one page, then that person will count as a bounce. If a person does not visit more than one page on your site, it is automatically counted as a bounce. All right. So 3.42% bounce rate means 3.42% of the people who visited your site left your site after visiting just one page. The higher your bounce rate, the worse is your site performance. Unless you have a single page site, having a higher bounce rate is a point of worry. You should always have lower bounce rates. Percentage new sessions tells you about how many new people visited your site. Demographics. So if you enable demographics on your Google Analytics, you'd be able to find out the kind of people who have visited your site. You'd be able to find out the age of people who have visited your site, the gender of people who have visited your site. Where have they visited your site from? Rikin is asking, what is the allowable percentage of bounce rate in general? Rikin, now again, it varies from industry to industry. A blog, for that matter, might have a higher bounce rate as compared to some other website. Okay, because in a blog, usually people come to the site, they read one blog and leave. In that case, the bounce rate would be much higher. But in case of probably an engagement website, probably an e-commerce website, the bounce rate would be lesser because a person who visits an e-commerce website ends up visiting more than one page, ends up having a look at more than one product. So the bounce rate would be less in that case. So in case of blogs, the bounce rate can go as high as 50 to 60%, even 70% in some cases. So it depends on how well your industry is performing. So that you can understand from benchmarking. Okay, if you benchmark your data, Google Analytics provides you benchmarking data from where you can find out how the other websites in your industry are performing. So you had selected the industry your website is in, and Google will provide you the data from that particular industry. You can see how the industry is performing, and if something can be changed for the bounce rate, you can change. There's something called as interests in Google Analytics, which tells you the kind of websites your audience is visiting after visiting your site. Okay, so in this picture, you can see 7.6% of the people who have visited my site are movie lovers, 5.86 are TV lovers, 5.8% are technophiles, some are cooking enthusiasts. So what Google does is, because Google knows the category of your website, Google can identify the people who visited your site and then identify the kind of websites they've been visiting. So you can understand the kind of audience that you're targeting. All right. This affinity category and in-market segment helps you identify the kind of people who come to your site, or what are the websites that they visit after visiting your site. Now, this is really important data, and it can be used in a very good way. If you know what kind of websites your visitors are visiting, you can directly talk to those particular websites or websites in those categories and start showing your ads there and start generating good results out of it. Okay. Shashank is asking, can I choose my competitor to track, and how many competitors does it track? No, Shashank, you cannot choose your competitor. It is a generic thing. Google will take the data of all your, not exactly competitors, but all the websites which fall in the same industry as you had selected earlier. I had selected the travel industry, so Google will find out all the websites in the travel industry and create benchmarking data for you. Jagdish is asking, how can Google tell the age group or other demographics of visitors? So Jagdish, what happens is when you browse the web uh, and you're logged into your Gmail account, Google knows everything about you. It tracks every click that you make. It tracks every website that you visit, and it uses that data to show you ads. So if you're logged into Google, or if you're working on a particular laptop using that IP or using your email details, Google is able to track what kind of websites you're visiting, and it is able to attribute it to you. And if you're logged in via your Gmail, it can get even more details. It can uh, uh, track you cross device as well. If you're logged in via your Gmail account on your laptop and your phone, you might as well end up seeing the same type of ads or the same ads on your mobile and on your desktop. Because Google knows that both the people associated with both the devices associated with this email ID belong to the same person. So it can automatically track that. If you are not logged in through your Gmail or your Google account, it will track everything via the sessions or via your cookies. So in your browser, you have some cookies, and those cookies store the data of whatever websites you're visiting. Not a lot of people delete their cookies unless you're browsing in incognito or deleting your cookies every now and then. Google will have a list of all the websites you've visited and the kind of websites you visit and the history of the websites you visit. Shashank is asking, is there a limit to the number of websites in the competitor? No, there is no particular limit, and that data has not been shared with us. You can also track the different sources that you're receiving the traffic from. Okay, right now I'm just going through the theory. I will show it to you on Google Analytics as well. Right now, I just want you to understand the theory. I will walk you through Google Analytics as a tool as well. Okay, so how do people find you online? You can find out how much traffic is coming from which particular source. You can understand the demographics you're targeting for your website, and then you can segment them accordingly. Okay, so you can find out what age group of people are converting better on your website. What gender of people are converting better on your website. People from which location are converting better on your website. People of which location are converting the worst on your website. People from which source are converting the best on your website. People from which source are engaging the most with your website. And again, there are millions of things that you can track. It's just that you need to define the right goals and define the right key performance indicator. All right. Any doubts until now? Cool. All right. So moving forward. All right. So now I'll walk you through Google Analytics, and then we'll talk about segments and goals. Let's talk about segments and goals, and then I'll walk you through around it and then give you a practical example of how to use segments as well. Now, what are segments? What do you understand from segments? Segments are chunks of people you divide on the basis of particular parameters. All right. Segments are created in order to understand the people coming to your website in a better way. Would users from Saudi Arabia behave differently as compared to users from United States? What about India? Will they be spending more time on the website? Will they be visiting more number of pages? Will they be buying more products from my website? Which users are more valuable to me? What other pages are they visiting? Are people from Saudi Arabia interested in a particular product more than the people in the United States? What are the kind of products that people from the United States want to buy? Okay, all these kind of data, I can talk about 100 things. You can think about 100 things. And all that can be tracked using segments. It is slicing the data into smaller sets to match a certain criteria. For example, all users from India, all women less than 25 interested in sports, all women who visited my site who are of the age less than 25 and are interested in sports. All the men who are above the age of 35 who are interested in playing computer games. Why do we need segments? God is in the detail. You can find every possible thing in detail. Don't try to dig too deep so that the data becomes so small that you can't infer anything from it. Make the data just big enough to understand and bring some inferences out of it. Via segments, you'll be able to identify how different sets of users behave differently. Absolutely right, Sushil. So Sushil says basically it is a category. Absolutely right. It is different category of people, and we're trying to monitor different metrics for different category of people visiting my site. That's very well put, Sushil. Now again, there's a way to define a segment on Google Analytics. I'll walk you through that process as well. All right. So define as many segments as you want. But before defining the segment, please define your objective as well. All right. So I'll tell you how to create a segment as well. Now goals. Goals is another thing that you need to identify. Now, goals is something that you want a user to do. Do you want the user to fill out a form on your website? Do you want the visitor to spend a particular amount of time on your website? Okay. What is that specific action that you want to track that a user is doing? All right. That all can be tracked via goals. You can create a goal to track the number of people who have registered on your contact form. You can create a goal to find out the number of people who visited more than 5 pages on your website. You can create a goal to track the number of people who spent more than 5 minutes on your website. And then target them differently because they are more valuable than the other people who visited your site. Okay. Maybe if you have a blog, then you can find out which blog is performing better than the others. You can define a goal and saying that the number of people who spend more than 5 minutes on my blog. Okay. You can then find out which blog of yours is more engaging than the others, and then start creating more content around the kind of blogs which engages more number of people. All right. I will walk you through the process of setting up goals as well. So small thing that you need to do now. Let's take the example of 7 Seas Tours. Okay, but we don't have the website ready. Think of the segments that you would want to create on the 7 Seas Tours website. Okay, define 2 segments that you would want to create on the 7 Seas Tours website, and define the 2 goals that you would want to see on the 7 Seas Tours website. Okay, once you define that, I will walk you through the process of creating goals and segments, and I'll also walk you through Google Analytics. Okay, let's walk through Google Analytics, and simultaneously you can start thinking about the goals. All right, I will show you a website with some visits. Great. So this is how Google Analytics looks. Okay. So basically, the 4 most important tabs in Google Analytics are audience, acquisition, behavior, and conversions. Okay. How to identify what are the metrics present behind these. Okay. So there is a quick cheat that I follow. Audience defines the kind of people who have visited your site. Okay, listen to me properly. Audience tab contains the metrics which defines the kind of people who have visited your site. Acquisition contains the metrics of which where did people land on my site from. Okay, how did they reach my site. Okay, audience contains who visited my site. Acquisition contains how did they visit my site, Behavior contains what did they do on my website. After visiting my site, what did they do on my website? The conversion tab contains if they converted on my website according to the goals that I have defined or not. Okay. So depending on what you want to see, you go into each of these tabs. Say if you want to find out where did these people come from. So if I want to find out where people on my site come from, which tab should I check? Which tab should I check if I need to find out where did the people on my site come from? Perfect. Everybody's got that right. Acquisition. If I want to find out how many people or if I want to find out the demographics of the people who visited my site, which tab would I find it under? Perfect. Yes, the audience tab. All right. Again, another question. So if I want to find out what are the kind of websites people coming to my site visit, okay, where do I find that data? If I want to find out what are the types of websites the people coming on my site visit, which tab will I find it under? No, behavior is not the right answer in this case, neither is acquisition. Listen to my question carefully. I want to find out the kind of website the visitors on my site visit after they visit my site. After they are done with my site, what are the kind of websites they visit? What is it that I'm trying to find out right here? I'm trying to find out about the people who come to my site. If I want to find out about the people who come to my site, I will check the audience tab. Yes. Okay. If I want to find out the kind of people who are coming to my site or whatever they do, I will go to the audience tab. Is it clear? Does everyone understand why behavior or acquisition is not the answer to my question? Perfect. All right. So yes, you go to audience and you'd see all the details that you can find about your audience. You can find the demographics, the overview. You'd have to activate it first. If you enable it, Google will start collecting that data. It'll be done within 24 hours. You can find age, gender. You can find out the interests as well, the kind of people who visit my site. So right now there is no data because I have just enabled the demographics. I'd probably get this data in a while. All right, so Shashank is asking for an example of behavior. So if I want to find out the pages that people visit once they come to my site, okay, which tab will I check? Absolutely right. So if I want to find out the pages that the people who came to my site visited, I will use the behavior tab. Okay. That is how you find out which tab you need to enter. Once you find out the tab that you need to enter, you go inside and find the specific details. You can find the geography that they're coming from, what is their first language. So most of them are English US, some are English Great Britain, some are English India. You can find out the location they are visiting your site from. So 3,500 people have visited from India, 1,300 from the United States, 477 from UAE, 400 from the Philippines. Got traffic coming in from across the world. Okay. Now, this is a behavior tab inside the audience tab. Don't get confused by it. This is different from what the behavior tab, the actual behavior tab is. This tells you how many new visitors you've had and how many returning visitors you've had. Okay. So out of the 6,000, almost 6,000 people who have visited this site, 900 are returning visitors. So 900 of them visited my site again. All right. This is a very important number to monitor. You need to have a lot of returning visitors, which will tell you about the engagement of your site. The more the number of returning visitors, the better your engagement is. Shashank is asking, can we get further in-depth breakup of what, Shashank? What in-depth breakup of what metric would you want an in-depth breakup? Country, city is what he is asking. Yes, absolutely. So you can find out the city as well. If you go to geo, this new visitors are total from the beginning. So you can select the date tab. You can select your date range from here and find out the details accordingly. Okay. The last three tabs are around goals. We'll learn about goals and then we'll be able to track these. For location, you can go in depth. So if I want to find where in India are people visiting my site from, I click on India and I find out that maximum visitors are from Delhi, then from Maharashtra, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, etc., etc. Okay. Moving on. You can also find out where are they visiting your site from. Are they visiting your site from a particular browser? Can it go further in depth as in city? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So let's try if it provides us the data for that as well. Let's go to India. So it's just going to the region. It goes to city as well. So I can find out the exact city: New Delhi, Bangalore, Pune, Calcutta, Chennai, Hyderabad, Lucknow. I don't think you'd want to know further details if that person is staying in Connaught Place in New Delhi, or maybe Saket in New Delhi, or maybe Magarpatta in Pune. So that is something that is pretty irrelevant, and you should not go that deep into data because the data will become, the data size will become really small and it won't be of much use. Till city, it is fine. Right? You can check how many people are coming from mobile. Now, mobile experience is really important. You can compare your mobile experience with the desktop experience. Okay. So what I can see clearly here is most of the people visiting my site are coming from mobile. All right. And if more and more number of people are visiting my site from mobile, I need to make sure the experience on mobile is much higher, much better than what desktops. Okay. I can also set up conversions to see which platform is performing better. Are people converting more on mobile or are people converting more on desktops? If more people are converting on desktops, then that would mean that I'd have to optimize my mobile website in order to generate more conversions. So I'll tweak some things here and there and then find it out. Okay. You can then go to the acquisition tab. See, the point with Google Analytics is there is so much data, there is so many fields, there are so many fields, there are so many metrics that you need to play around with it as much as possible. Okay. The more you play with it, the better your understanding will be. Okay, I might be able to tell you 10 different metrics to monitor here, and the next time you have a look at Google Analytics, you would find 10 other metrics that you should look into. Okay, so it is important for you to try your hands on Google Analytics as much as possible. Do it hands-on. The more you do it hands-on, the better it will be for you, the better your understanding about data would be. Okay, under acquisition, I can directly find out where my traffic is coming from. So it's loading right now. So it is not showing the acquisition data right now. I can go to channels and see. So most of my traffic is coming from social. So social media is something that I should focus more on. I'm getting some traffic via organic search as well. Some is direct traffic as well. Some is referral traffic. So I can find out where my referral traffic is coming from. Which websites are referring traffic to my website? Let's find that out. So I can see where my referral traffic is coming from. It's coming from google.com, PayU, Shopify, and where not. So you can have a look at that data. You can see how your social performance, social media is performing. So you'd have to set up goals for this. And once you create a goal, you'd be able to find out how each goal is converting corresponding to each social media source. All right. The third and another important tab is behavior. So under behavior, I can find out which pages people are visiting. What are the pages people are revisiting? Which page is generating the highest bounce rate? From which page I am generating the maximum number of conversions? Which page has the highest engagement in terms of average session duration? Yes, Rikin, I will walk you through how to set up goals in a while. Right now, I'm just walking you through the different metrics. Okay. After this, I will walk you through different goal setups and the segmentation process as well. All right. So you can find out the number of sessions, bounce rate, pages per session, etc., etc. You can learn about the site speed, how quickly your site is loading. It's very important to know that your site is loading as quickly as possible. So the faster your site loads, the better user experience it is. Okay. So you can go through as many tabs as you want to. Okay, we can go to real time and see how many people are there on my site right now. There are 3 people on my site right now. All right. 2 of them have come from Facebook and all 3 have come from mobile. All right. Now, how to set up goals? For setting up goals, you need to go to the admin tab and click on goals. Now remember, in a single property, you cannot create more than 20 goals. All right. So create your goals accordingly. Now, I'll click on plus new goal. And there are different templates for which you can create goals. You can create goals for reservations that people are doing, signed up for a tour. You can set up goals for if someone buys a ticket from your site, creates an account on your website, read a particular review on your website. Then if you have an engagement website, you can check the number of people who played a video on your website, how many people shared a particular type of content on your website. All that can be done very easily. Or you can create a custom goal on your own. I always prefer creating a custom goal because it gives me more flexibility. I click on custom goal. I name it as test goal. And say I want to track all the people. Say I'm creating a goal here. and I click on custom. I want to track all the people who visited more than 3 pages on my site. Okay, I can assign a value to them. How valuable are those customers to me? So if I say that a person who's visited more than 3 pages has a 50% chance of buying, so I can give it a value of 1 USD. Okay. And before making this goal live, you can verify this goal, and it would say that 14.565% of the times this goal would have been converted. So 14% of the people who come to my site visit more than 3 pages. So click on save, and you're done. All right. Now, how do you see this data for every page? You go back to your stats, and now you can see the goals. All right. Now, if I want to see the goals depending on the sources, so I'll go to all traffic, I'll go to channels, I'll see which channel converts the best. Okay. So goals take time to set up. You will not see all the data right now, but in a while you'd be able to see the goals and the data corresponding to each social referring channel. So you'd be able to find out the number of people out of 4,626 who have completed this particular goal. You'd be able to find out of 1,000 people who directly visited my site, how many completed that goal. And similarly, you can also find out under the behavior tab that how many people visited more than 3 pages after landing on the home page, probably this page, and all the pages that you can think of. Is this clear? Is this clear to everyone, or does anyone have any query? All right. What is it that is not clear? If you have any doubts, stop me at any point of time and ask your query. What is it that in this process you could not understand? Absolutely, Srilata. You can. Srilata is asking every goal setting. Can we cancel it? Yes, you can. You can remove the goal anytime you want to. Okay, how to see it? Rikin is saying that it's confusing how to see the goal. Okay, so there is a conversion tab corresponding to everything that you see. All right, there is a conversion tab that you will see, or you can directly go to conversions and goals and click on overview. Once you click on overview, you can select the goal completions. So test goal 1, how many times was it completed? So right now you'd not see all the data because it's still in process. We just made the goal live, and after a while you'd be able to see all the data. Okay, so you can see how many times the goal was completed corresponding to any metric that you want to. You can see the goal completions corresponding to the traffic sources. You can see the goal completion corresponding to the number of the page that the user landed on. You can see the goals corresponding to the age group of people and all that. All right. So you just need to go to goals and just make sure that the recording is on. As soon as the recording is on, then you'd be able to find it out. All right. So Gautam is asking, what is reversal goal path? All right. Interesting question. Let's dive deeper. You go to conversions and you click on reverse goal path. Now, reverse goal path is not showing any data here, but Reverse goal path will tell you how was the goal completed. What are the pages the user visited before completing the goal? It is reverse engineering the process of goal conversion. Is that clear, Gautam? Is it clear to everyone? All right. Okay. So I'll take that as a yes and move forward. The next thing that I would want you to understand is how to set up a segment. Now, you go to audience overview and you see at the top add segment. So you can add a segment, and there are some custom segments which are already provided. You can see those segments as well. Segment of people who come from direct traffic, mobile traffic, organic traffic, search traffic, sessions with conversions, and everything. But you can create your own segment as well. It is very easy to create your own segment. You click on plus new segment, and you'd have different metrics on which on the basis of which you can slice and dice your data. Okay, on the basis of these metrics, you'd be able to slice and dice the data and get better insights on how people are coming to your site, or maybe what people are doing on your website. Okay, so say I want to find out how people from India between the age of 20 to 24, and you can divide them on different bases. You can divide on them on the basis of demographics, technology, the operating system that they are using, the browser that they are using, browser version, device category, everything. Their behavior, the number of sessions that they have done on my site, the session duration. I can find out of the total number of people who came to my site from India, how many of them visited my site, stayed on my site for more than 1 minute. This is in seconds. So how many people stayed on my site for more than 60 seconds? And you'd be able to see the data here. So that's 0% of the data. Okay. So Google needs some insights. Google needs a lot of data before you can actually segment it. The amount of data on this website is too less to actually create segments. You need to have good number of data before you can start creating segments. So in this case, I have added two parameters. People between the age of 18 to 34, coming from India, from the traffic source, say Facebook. All right, I would change some demographics to see if they will provide me any data. Correct. So right now, because Google does not have the age data, because the demographic data has just been enabled, right? I did it in front of you. Google does not have the age and gender data. That is why it cannot segment it on that basis. So 44% of the people coming from India come from Facebook.com. And again, if I want to find out how many people stayed on the website for more than 60 seconds, I will create another segment. So out of that, 18% of the users spent more than 60 seconds on my website, spent equivalent to 60 seconds, exactly 60. Greater than 60, 9.7% of the users. So I will name this segment as people from India, Facebook greater than 60 seconds. So that it's easier to identify. I'll click on save and I will compare their behavior. I'll see how they are doing. 17% bounce rate, 5-minute session duration. I can find out how many times they converted as well. If my goals have started working, the goals are still not live. So I'd be able to find out how many people from India who visited from Facebook greater than 60 seconds were able to complete the goal that I had set. Okay, so this is how you create segments. Is it clear? Is anyone confused? It can be a little confusing and overwhelming at times. Like I told you before, the amount of data that we have, it can be overwhelming at times, but don't get confused. Once you get hands-on experience on working on Google Analytics, things will get much easier. Is this clear to everyone? Guys, I'd like to have some inputs from everyone. Yes, Sushil, it needs practice to understand more. Absolutely right. But it will only happen if you've understood everything here. If you've understood it, then you can work on it and then come back with your questions in the next session. Drop me an email with whatever question you have at any point of time. Okay. But if you're not able to understand even the theory or how it works, it will be difficult for you to implement it. You should understand it well enough to implement it later on. Just tell me if you've understood it well enough or not. I would love if everyone can give me a yes or no on this so that Sushil is asking, can we do this analysis for any website? Sushil, only if you have access to the Google Analytics of that website. Unless you have the access to Google Analytics of that website, you'd not be able to see this data. And please don't call me sir, call me Shreyans. Whoever is writing sir, please don't write sir. You can call me Shreyans, yes. All right, cool. So why do we set up goals and segments? It's something we know already. To slice and dice the data, to understand the data better, because there is so much data available on the web. Segments, once created, can be shared. Okay, so once you've created a segment, you can easily share it with your boss and tell them that this is what is important. Okay, very easily. These are some websites that you should actually look into. They have some really good insights about analytics. They will provide you some really good tips on what to do with your data and how to slice and dice your data. I would really suggest you to read Avinash Kaushik's blog. Okay, that provides some. Sure, Yuvraj, we'd provide you some test access for analytics. I try to contact the course coordinator, and they'll send you an email with those details. Or what you can do is you can create your own website. I would suggest you start creating your own website and implement all the learnings, whatever you learn this week, on your website as well. But yes, we'll try to provide you test access as well. We'll in fact provide you the test access. Yes, so there are some really good websites that you can visit. I will just send you all the link to read more about analytics. Avinash Kaushik blog. All right. So kaushik.net is a great website to learn about analytics. This is a little advanced, but this is a great website. You can go to the Google Analytics blog. Analytics, you can get some analytics insight from that. Justin Scutoni is another good website to learn about analytics. I will send you the link for this as well. Analytics Academy is an academy. So these are a couple of websites. There are some other good websites as well. We'll keep sharing them with you as time passes by. Great. So that's pretty much it for today. I hope all of you enjoyed today's session. I hope it was an interactive and you learned everything in a nice way. If at all you have any questions, do ask them to me right now. Right now. And I'd ask you all to wait and answer the questions I'll be putting up on the poll. And simultaneously, if you have any questions, please type them down. So you'd see some questions on your screen right now. I'd request you to answer those questions. First question on your screen. Fantastic. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining me in the second session of this digital marketing training program. In the next session, we'll be covering search engine optimization. Very exciting times ahead. Please make sure you try and test things around. You start working on something. And it's going to be fun in the next 10 sessions as well. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye. You too. Everybody have a good day.